BBC Listen, podcasts, radio, news, music and more.
A Qatar-based broadcaster Al Jazeera has accused Israel of violating the principles of freedom of the press after an apparent Israeli airstrike killed 2 journalists in southern Gaza. One of the journalists killed was the son of veteran Al Jazeera correspondent Wael Al Dahdouh, whose wife, 2 other children and a grandson were killed in a previous Israeli strike. In the latest incident, the Israel Defence Force claims the journalists were travelling in a vehicle with a terror operative who was operating a drone. Mansour is a Palestinian-Canadian father who is in Gaza documenting the war. Mansour, welcome back to RN.
Thank you. Good morning to you and your audience.
Good morning. Mansour, you knew Hamza Dahdouh, the son of Al Jazeera correspondent Wael Al Dahdouh. What was your reaction when you received the news of Hamza's death?
The reaction was we were all surprised. We were actually we had seen each other the day before. We were talking together with his father and with other journalists here about the latest what is happening here in Gaza. We were just thinking, okay, we're going to see each other again at the end of the day. And he himself is a reporter, and he was out doing his journalist work together with another colleague. And then we learned the news from his father and from Al Jazeera correspondents, who are our neighbors here in the tent, saying that their vehicle has been targeted and that Hamza, Wael's eldest son, has been severely injured. And unfortunately, he had his last breath there on the ground beside the car that was targeted by the IDF. Over 111 journalists have been killed by the IDF here in Gaza Strip since the start of October the 7th, many of them with their family members. However, despite all of these challenges, the morale of people like myself, people like Mr. Wael, and journalists and social media influencers across Gaza are not diminishing. The blood of these journalists that have been spilled has boosted our morale to deliver even more truth to the world, and this will not hinder us. This will actually make us push down our path even stronger.
Mansour, Hamza is the 5th member of Wael Al Dahdouh's family to have been killed in this latest conflict. How does Wael continue with his job given what's happened with his family?
He believes that he needs to continue delivering on his sacred message of carrying the microphone in front of the camera and delivering the news of what is happening to Palestine and to Palestinians for the whole world. He believes that if he stops doing that, then it will show that we are weak here in Palestine. It will show that we are giving in what the Israelis are trying to do to us. So for him, in order to continue keeping the honor and the dignity of his family, and to ensure that the legacy of his son, of his wife, of his children, of his grandchildren continues to run, he believes that he's writing history together with the other journalists here by showing them that despite any challenges that we are going through, we continue delivering the truth, we continue delivering the message of the genocide that is happening to 2.3 million civilians here in Gaza.
What about for yourself with your own work, Mansour? Do you feel frightened doing your job?
Not at all. At the end, we will all die. The question is, how would we have lived our life? What is the legacy we are leaving behind? I might die now in my sleep. I might die because of a heart attack. I might already be having a cancer that can kill me in the next few years. We will all die one day. So the question is, how will we die? And most of the people in Gaza here are Muslims. And if we are killed while striving for the truth, while striving to ensure that we are helping the displaced civilian population here, we believe that we will be martyrs. And martyrs in Islam get the highest place in paradise. So it's a win-win for us here. It's either we achieve victory against the Zionist regime here on the ground, or we are killed as martyrs and go to the highest level of paradise. So in both cases, we aren't losing. And that's why the morale here is very high and continues to be so amongst the regular Palestinian civilian here.
What is the humanitarian situation like in Gaza at the moment, Mansour, when we're talking about food and water and basic supplies? How would you describe it?
The Israeli government has openly from the beginning said that these are Palestinian animals. We will cut off electricity, water. We will close the borders. All of these civilians are targets, including the babies, including the women, including the elderly, including the 99% population that had no idea about what happened on October the 7th. So from the beginning, they were very public about it. And yes, the humanitarian situation is getting worse on the ground, despite aid only trickling in through. Our medical situation is terrible, especially in the north. We are running out of good, nutritious food. We are running out of clean water. We need immediately field hospitals to be set up here to treat the injured, to treat the long-term patient care. We need medication to arrive. We need qualified professionals and volunteers to come in. Millions from around the world have been calling to come in and help us here. We need the borders to be open as soon as possible. The regular Palestinian needs to feel secure and safe, especially when they are in hospitals, in refugee schools, in mosques, in churches. This is not the case. So from a humanitarian perspective, things are getting worse here on the ground. And we are hoping as soon as possible for a permanent ceasefire to happen, for borders to open and to aid to arrive, and for the injured to leave Gaza to get the attention that they need.
Just finally, Mansour, you have Canadian citizenship, but you've decided to stay. Have you ever thought of leaving during the past few weeks?
Never. We believe that we are here creating history. And we need to sacrifice our time, our efforts, everything in order to ensure that history is made here. Palestinians here are striving down a path not only for themselves, but on behalf of the rest of the free world around the globe. We are seeing the light at the end of the tunnel. And similar to the women beside me here in the maternity ward in Nasser Hospital in Khan Yunis, going through the pain of giving birth, they at the end have a beautiful child. And similar to that, we are seeing the beautiful child. We are seeing a free Palestine coming soon. And this will only happen if people like myself, together with thousands of others here in Gaza and around the world, continue to sacrifice everything for the sake of the truth, for the sake of this just cause.
Mansour Shuman, thank you.
Thank you.
It's easier than ever to hear your favourite local and national ABC radio stations, live and on demand on the ABC Listen app.